agriculture,
Western lifestyle,
entrepreneurship,
farm and ranch,
stewardship.
heritage.
All of these are the cornerstones of a way of life that has been built for generations.
The stories and the people are what keeps the traditions alive.
Welcome to the place where it all comes together.
The Grassroots and Grounded Podcast.
Hey guys, we just want to take a second and thank one of our corporate sponsors, Iris Inc. Realty, Crawford, Georgia. You know, some leaders in the real estate industry in Oglethorpe County in Northeast Georgia.
Absolutely. They've been salt of the earth. They've opened up their office to us with open arms, and they've been so kind and generous to let us record here.
Absolutely. Every episode of the Grassroots and Grounded podcast is brought to you right here from the Iris Inc. studio in downtown Crawford, Georgia. If you ever get an opportunity to stop right here in Crawford, come in the office, check it out, meet the guys and gals down here, Jessica Arnold, Blake Arnold, just the whole crew.
And it's such a great group of people and real estate agents. They're just wonderful folks.
They have, the interest of their clients always at heart. Those people are not worried about the money. If you ever have a question about real estate or anything in that part of the world, make sure you reach out to Iris Inc. Realty. All right, welcome everybody to the Grassroots and Grounded podcast. This week we have a friend of ours, Mr. Doyle Ivie. Mr. Doyle, I guess I've known you since
you was little.
Yeah, or you've known me. You knew me probably before I knew you, since I was little.
You run around a sale barn like a...
Yeah, sure did. But Mr. Doyle, we appreciate you coming on today and come talk to us. And
thank you for asking me.
I know you mentioned that you'd watched a couple episodes, so you probably know by now we like to get people's whole story. We like to start from childhood and I mean, you don't have, you're not but 50-something years old, so you probably don't have a 50-something.
I can do that.
But Mr. Doyle, shoot us from the hip. Tell us from childhood, how did you grow up and how did things get to be around today?
Well, first of all, I was born in Oconee County in the Farmington area. I actually live about 5 miles from where I was born in the middle of a cotton field. I say middle of old frame house with cotton around three sides of it. And that's where I lived my first 3 years of my life. And then my folks both started public work, so I lived with my grandmother. And I learned a lot from them old folks, you can bet on that. Mm-hmm. And they finally moved off to Athens and then moved back. We moved around and ended up in Farmington, right there across from the Baptist church. My dad built that house in 58, I believe it was. And that's the rest of my growing up years was there. And living with my grandmother, I always had a horse. I got my first horse when I was 4 years old. And outside of a couple of years, I've always had a horse. And that's where my love for animals came in. And my dad had bird dogs at the time. And if you're old folks, you remember that circus show called Big Top. Well, I had taught my dad's bird dogs to get up on, we burned wood and had big blocks of wood out there, and I taught my dad's dogs to get up on them blocks of wood and turn around like them elephants are doing, all that sort of thing. And I actually had taught one dog to carry a bucket in the garden for me because it was expected that you gonna work in the garden. I mean, maybe if you 4 or you 8, you gonna work in the garden.
Well, y'all probably had a big garden then too.
Oh, my granddad had a truck farm, see, so it's a whole lot of work. And I taught that dog to do that. And I always wanted to be a cowboy, but never had no money.
I thought that's what you had to be to be a cowboy was be broke.
In the 60s, Lake Wellbrook put an arena over there. Mm-hmm. They had a riding stable and they put an arena. And I tried riding a bareback horse and, that's pretty rough. I said, this ain't for me. So then I started trying to rope some calves, and that's where I first learned a little bit about roping. And as time went on, one thing and another, and managed to get me some horses and done a lot of trail riding and showed in some little local shows, open shows, and a couple of AQHA shows. And just kept moving on with the animals. And then Uncle Sam called me to go to the land of the little people and save y'all from the communists. That's what they told us. I don't know why we said that's what they told us. They were saving y'all from the communists.
Yeah, and they were. And we appreciate your service.
And came back.
Which branch did you go into?
I was in the Army. I was drafted. I wasn't about to join. I said, I'll give you 2 years of my life, but I ain't giving you 3. You forget that. So came back from there and
What year
went
was
to
that?
work at the College of Veterinary Medicine. Okay. And there again, it goes right back to my love for animals. And I learned a lot about cows and horses and dogs, and I ain't too much on cats still, but anyway. It just kept going, and then in I guess it was 77, I got the bright idea I wanted to build some chicken houses. Well, I pulled it off some way or another. 1980, I put chickens in first time. So for 21 years there, we had chickens, and having laying hens, cage layers, pick up eggs every day. You might as well be working on a dairy farm. Only difference is you ain't in the rain and it's warm, but it's hot as the devil in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly, I guess about this would have been about 86, 87. I was having a lot of trouble with blood pressure and stress and whatever. And the doctor said, well, you need to get a hobby. You don't have a hobby. You work all the time. So Jack and I had become friends then. And I decided one day, I'm going to build me an arena and start team roping. So I built an arena, and I said, Jack, you want team rope? No, I ain't going to team rope. I rope calves. Okay, whatever. Well, guess what? Jack shows up with some calves. All we had was plastic horns, so he had some roping calves. We put plastic horns on the roping calves. And that's how my roping career got started. It wasn't too long-lived, but anyway. So I roped into the mid-90s and roped myself broke. Can you believe that?
It's not hard to do, I promise you.
Roped myself broke, and I thought, well, I might just slow down on this, and I need to, just slow down. I'm spending too much money, and it kind of turned into a job because it seemed like you had to practice 2 or 3 times a week and then go to the ropings on the weekend. And man, I already had a job. I didn't need nothing else to do, so I kind of slowed down on that. And during that time, Oconee County opened up a animal control unit, and they contacted me about running it or organizing it. So for 3 years.
What year would that have been? What year would that have been?
That would have been 90, it would have been 90, 91, somewhere along in there. And I helped get that thing going, and probably the worst job I ever had in my life. You can bet when you got to the office in the morning, by 9 o'clock, you done made 2 people somewhat angry. And when I say angry, they talk ugly to you. The one you was going to see about the dog or the whatever, but one time it was pigs and goats. But anyway, I did that for a while, and I thought, I ain't liking this. So I had a friend that worked for the state, and the state vehicle drove up in the parking lot at the animal control, and they come in, and I thought, well, what are y'all doing here? I got everything up to snuff here as far as being inspected or whatever. And they sat down, they said, we want to talk to you. Okay. How would you like to work for General Field Forces? So that's how I got into testing cows, and I did that for about 3 years, and I thought, I ain't liking this too good either.
At the stockyard, y'all were testing for brucellosis?
Yeah, that's where I said you was running around all the time over there in Athens.
Oh, yeah.
Like a little wild Indian.
It hadn't changed much.
This is true. But during that time, during the animal control time, Claire had a problem with a dog. So I go over and visit her, and whatever, we got to be friends, and one thing led to another, and she said, I really want to train some herding dogs. She's showing dogs at the time, want to train some herding dogs. So I thought, well, I don't know, probably can do it. I've trained a few horses and whatever. So we go to a herding trial, and I come back, and I said, hey, that's a piece of cake. I can do that. So the next year we went back, and we put titles on 2 dogs. So then it went on, and I met a professional trainer, Bob Vest, and Bob said, you kind of got a knack for this. I can help you. So he really just raised me up and helped me, and got me a really good dog. Gave me a really good dog. And he said, this is funny. He called me one night about 10 o'clock. He said, I'm coming by your house. I got you a puppy. I said, Bob, I do not need a puppy. I got a barn full of dogs.
Like a hole in the head.
Yeah, I do not need a puppy, Bob. He said, take this puppy and he'll make something out of you. I'm okay. What's that supposed to mean? He said, you'll learn more from this dog than I can ever teach you. And that's where it all started. And
so he was just a natural.
Just everybody about knew Bud, because Bud could get it done now. He was some kind of dog. And
now,
so,
how old was the puppy when he brought it to you?
He was about 8 or 9 weeks old, and I took him to the arena the next day. I had a lesson the next day, and I took that dog up there, 9 weeks old, and he could move sheep at 9 weeks old.
And that guy just knew it.
Oh yeah, he knew his dogs and everything.
And what kind of dog was he?
He was a Kelpie Border Collie cross.
Okay.
I had to stop and think. I had so many dogs I had to think about it, but it was just a super good dog. And won a lot with him. And Bob had said, he said, you really need to start doing lessons. And I said, Bob, I don't know about doing lessons. I don't know enough to teach anybody else. He said, you know more than most people in this area. He said, I've watched you. He said, I've helped you. You know more. So I started there doing lessons, and it's just
grown and grown.
Kept on growing.
What year did you start doing lessons?
96 or 7. And then that's when the big deal came, because John Wilson wanted my rope horse, and I said, well, I ain't used him much, so I sold him my rope horse. And then I got to thinking, I ain't got a horse I can rope on here, so I found a horse to try, Outlaw, and that sucker flipped over backwards on me, crushed my ankle. They amputated my leg.
Mm-hmm.
And Claire comes to the hospital, and she says, hurry up. It's just right after my birthday, but hurry up. We got to get a cast on you and get you to Atlanta. I said, you don't understand. They talking about cutting my leg off. She's holy gee. But anyway.
Now you were trying the horse. You didn't buy it.
I was trying the horse to buy.
To rope on. To team rope on.
Yeah, it was supposed to have been a team rope. And I expected one time he was one whale of a horse. I mean, big, stout, roan horse. Had scars all over him. They said he come out the feedlot. I said, I can believe that's the way he's skin up, know. And but lucky I ain't dead. That's the best. Jack was with me. Jack said that's the worst wreck I ever seen in my life. He said I've seen rodeo wrecks and wasn't like that. This horse flipped over backwards, just did a backflip. One lunge out of the box, flipped around and went over. And they said, I tried to crawl over the chute and set up, and they said before I got to the chute, the horse had already got up and was grazing over in the corner of the pen. So.
It wasn't his first trip doing it, was it?
No. That's what Jack said. I won't say what Jack said. He said, we need to kill him. He said, he needs to be killed right now. He said, that horse has done this before. So that's how the dog business got started. And now, I guess I can do as much as I want to. I got 2 dogs there in training, and I got 6 waiting to come. And I don't want to do it. I did this for fun, but it's really turned into a business.
I tell you, my wife teaches roping lessons. You come over to the house and see, and she teaches some roping lessons, and it can get to be where your hobby can be a full-time job.
It's already like that with me.
Sure.
And that's the reason I quit roping, because it got to where you got to go.
So tell me this: when you broke your ankle,
it crushed my ankle,
and the bone. I guess the bones in the lower part.
Blowed the talus bone out both sides.
Ooh. And so where did they amputate it in the middle of your shin right there?
It's just 13 centimeters below my knee.
So about halfway.
Yeah.
Did you even have pain, or was the adrenaline? I mean,
Pain.
well, they say the adrenaline will hit you and then you don't feel, you know.
The funny thing about it is when they put me in the ambulance, every time they put on brakes in the ambulance, this thing would kill me. It was like, God. And I asked them, I said, y'all got to stop.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
But really, you would think about it. But yeah, and then once I got back to myself, because I took a pretty good lick. They kept saying, you got a concussion. I said, I'm telling you, I ain't got no concussion. I said, it's my knee. But obviously, I had some neck. That's about as far as I can turn my neck anymore.
So I don't know if people ever hear rumors or stories about themselves, but I'll tell you some rumors I've always heard. I heard you and Jack White made your first leg you had. Your first
That's a
prosthetic.
fact. I was coming to that part.
Yeah.
I had saw one, and it's actually patterned after the ones they gave the soldiers from the Civil War, and it's basically just whatever you got, a tree stump or board. I used a 2x8 because that's what I had. But you just saw down in it, and you got one part that comes up under your arm, and the other part comes up to the inside of your leg. And you got a little place hollowed out or sawed out on it to put your knee on. You put a pad there, and then you got two buckles. Well, I get it all sawed out and made, and I thought, well, I got to get this thing where to stay on. I'd already hold it with my hand walking. I said, I'm getting somewhere now. I can walk. Get your hands free, you know. And went up to Jackson. He looked at it. He said, damn, how'd you think of this? Well, I had two friends that were amputees, so they both knew about them already. So I had a little insight on that. But anyway, Jack and Jason Marr went to work on it. They said, we're going to get you walking before you leave here. And they made them straps, and Jason made a nicest little pad to go down there and put my knee on. And I walk around. I couldn't drive with it on. I have to get in the truck, take it off. To go to get out, I put it back on, I could walk. And
It was your right leg?
yes,
So you had to learn how to drive with your left leg. You didn't have a 5-speed truck, did you?
I did have a straight shift. One of my trucks was straight shift. Yeah.
You could drive straight shift with one leg?
You use like
A stick.
you got the gas with the stick.
Okay.
But most of the time I drove an automatic truck because it's just a whole lot easier, you know. But yeah, I had all of that kind of stuff. But.
So I'll tell you another rumor about yourself that you might not know.
Well, so far you're right over, but some of it you don't need to tell.
Yeah, I won't tell them all, Doyle. And so this is how the story I heard it. Okay. So Daddy told me, what year did you lose your leg?
I believe it was 97.
97. So September 11th, 2001, when the planes hit the towers and all that, and you know they went to changing all this stuff about flights, and everybody's scared about flying. Supposedly, the way Daddy tells the story, and now he's gonna get onto me if I tell it wrong. He's gonna say I embellished it, but I promise you I heard it this way. It might not have been the way he said it, but I heard it this way. He said you went to go fly not long after September 11th, and Daddy asked you if you were scared to get on the plane if somebody might take over the plane, and you told him no, you just take your leg off, whoop them to death with it.
I said that. Yeah, we flew to Montana. Jack and I flew to Montana. I said, now, Jack, if they try to hijack this plane, I'm going to slip my leg off and hand it to you. And I said, you'll have one whale of a club. I said, you can whoop a heap of heads with this thing.
Well, I'm glad to know my story wasn't. I'm glad to know it was true. I'm 2 for 2, Doyle.
Everybody's made a joke out of it, you know. I mean, that's the only way you can take it.
Sure, yeah.
It's like Claire said. Two of my friends come over shortly after it happened. Both of them got the right leg missing. And Claire said, you never understand till you walk in your house and there's 3 men sitting there and they all got their pants down looking at their leg.
Well, that's what you need some good friends. You know, you gotta kind of laugh at life, or it's just it gets too long.
But getting back to the dogs, if it wouldn't have been for the dogs, I'd probably lost my mind.
Oh, sure.
I just, you know, I did get back on a horse, although somebody opposed it very much. She actually said I was crazy. Well, she said it in a different kind of way.
She probably knew it beforehand. She just got verification.
But, yeah, the dogs were a lifesaver that. And I'll go ahead and tell you another story. I was working dogs. I was on my crutches. And the dog wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing, and I threw my crutches at him. Well, guess what? I'm standing there on one leg. I can't move nowhere because I don't have nothing to hold up with him. So anyway, she starts laughing. She said, she went over and picked up my crutch and handed it to me where I get my balance and get going. So you have to be careful about what you do if you're incapacitated.
It teaches you a little more patience. Huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What year was that you lost your leg?
I'm pretty sure that was like in '98. It was 97, 98. I'd have to go back and look. See exactly.
That sounds
been
about
nearly
right.
30 years.
I remember Daddy telling me about it when it happened, right? Because I knew you from this, like you said, we were in the stockyard.
They had that. The boys had that benefit roping for me and raised a ton of money. And that's one thing that kept me going because I couldn't work.
Yeah.
And I finally I put me a handbrake on my tractor and got some help. I didn't have anybody to load and unload the tractor, so I got back to building fence. And that turned into a pretty good business. I got tired of it. I ain't never been one to stick with nothing too long.
I'd almost forgot you were in the fence business because I remember us talking a lot about fence.
We built miles of fence. I don't know how much.
I'll tell you what, I didn't enjoy building fence with two good legs. I sure would hate to know what it was like. Had to just do it.
Well, part of the reason I wanted to quit doing that is because the walking.
Sure. And I walk a lot.
Yeah, I'm hands on.
Mm-hmm.
I walk around that fence, and if there's a staple missing, somebody went back and put it in. You know?
That's right. That's right.
That's the reason I had a pretty good kind of business. People call me still, want to know if I'd build them a fence. No, I ain't building a fence.
So back up a little bit. When you got drafted into the Army, to go to Vietnam, what was that experience like? Because before then, had you ever even left Georgia? Before?
I had been to, where had I been? North Carolina. And back when we were showing horses, I had been to Gray Hill, Alabama, and North Florida, just showing horses. That was pretty much it.
So it's probably a culture shock to go to Vietnam, huh?
Well, it wasn't exactly a culture shock. It was wondering where you're going to get back alive or not. Because when we got over there, you went back 100 years. Everything you had was with you on your back. You had nothing. I mean, you get back to the base camp every 45 to 60 days, but after 5 days of stand down, you go right back out. So, yeah, it's real funny. Raised on farm like I was, I knew how to do stuff. I could cook and do things like that. And it's unreal. I know in one of the training exercises we had, they give us a bean can, a live chicken, and a handful of rice. And said, now you got to make your dinner yourself. I was the only one there that knew how to scald a chicken and get the feathers off of it. I don't know how many chickens I dressed that night.
You had to teach some of those old city boys, huh?
Yes, they didn't know. They didn't have a clue.
Yeah, and shoot, you would have thought then it wouldn't have been so uncommon because this had been 1970. What?
This was would have been 69.
69. You would think back then more people, would have known.
That's a strange thing about being in the service. You meet people from all walks of life. You meet people that ain't never had nothing to people that's had it all.
Now, do you still keep up with some of you?
Oh yeah,
some of the guys you knew from there.
I talked to one of my friends that I was in Vietnam with just last week. We've kept up with each other pretty good.
Now what did you do in the Army? What was your specialty? Were you an infantryman? Or?
I was 11B40 squad leader with infantry. And when I got there, they told me to go get on a helicopter and go to Firebase Catherine and find Sergeant Brewer, and he'd tell you what to do. And I get out there. He said, there's your platoon over there. Platoon usually have 4 squads, at least 7 to 10 people in it. I had 7 people in my squad, in my platoon. So it was an experience.
So you had to hit the ground running. Then you had people underneath you. So
yeah, I see. And the worst part about it, I was 21. I was old compared to most of them boys. Most of them boys, 18, 19 years old.
Imagine the day the boys.
And I was like, I was pretty much like being a daddy to some of them, you know. And he'd listen to all them stories that somebody's been over to getting ready to go home, and he gets a letter from his wife. She just had a baby. He'd been in Vietnam 12 months and stuff like. And you sit there, and them guys sit there and cry, and you just have to, all you can do is just sit there and listen to them, you know. That's what's that. It's like being their daddy or something. So it was eye opener as far as people were concerned.
You get close with those guys that way, huh?
Yeah, you can, but you try not to get too close because you don't never know how long they're going to be there, you know.
Right.
Tell the story about you on the mountain. Would you tell that about you on the mountain sleeping on with your tree?
Oh yeah, all training I had was like in swamps and rice paddies and thatch huts and stuff like that. I get there where they send me to the mountains, just like being in the mountains of North Georgia. Steep. We had to move 1,000 meters a day. Didn't make no difference where we had to move 1,000 meters. Now it's a struggle with a 95-pound rucksack on your back, walking 1,000 meters. But it did,
because that's near a mile.
Didn't seem to hurt me none.
Yeah, that's near a mile, right? Because would that be almost like 1,000 yards, and what's 1,300 yards in a mile? Is that right?
Like that. But the one thing I got from that trip is I joined Backcountry Horsemen because I was doing a little trail riding, and they got out with a machete. And I said, I'm going to tell you what, you can put that machete up right now, otherwise I'm going somewhere else. I said, I done used one of them things all day, every day, for days. And it's things like that. It's like, Claire, sometimes like to cook Chinese. I can smell soy sauce from 500 yards.
Don't want no part of it.
Stir fry, whoo. If I go outside and come back in, I can do pretty good with it. But if I got to smell it cooking, you can smell them people, I'm telling you. They eat a lot of fish and stuff like that. You just get all these quirky things from.
So my uncle went, I want to say he had to go to, this would have been in the 80s though, like after he had to do a station in Vietnam or something at one point, and he said he had to try, you talking about trying different stuff, they had cooked some dog. And he always said he wouldn't try it, but he said he tried a piece of it just to say he did it one time. He said if you closed your eyes, it wasn't too bad, but if you opened your eyes and thought about it, he said it wasn't anything you wanted to do.
You didn't see many dogs over there. And I don't recall ever seeing a cat.
Yeah.
No kind.
Right. Well, that might be the way to be. I don't know. I'm with you. You don't own cats. Cats own you, I guess.
That's right.
Another one of our corporate sponsors, Courtney Hunter Areola. When you talk about a realtor in the Morgan County, Oconee County, that just south of Athens market, she is your go-to girl. Trustworthy, she's knowledgeable, she knows everything, she can help you with anything. She specializes in land and farms. She's with the Keller Williams Lake Oconee team, Miss Rhonda Smith. And if you need a really good real estate agent to guide you through the whole process, whether you're buying or selling, make sure you call Courtney Hunter Areola. But so now, when you team roped and stuff, did you head or did you heel more?
I had all the time. I never was too swift on feet. We'd be practicing there, I'd heel some, and I guess if I'd practiced it like I did heading, I probably could have healed. I had a horse that worked either end. He's a pretty good kind of horse.
Right. Did you ever get Jack team rope much?
Oh yeah, man. You know, we roped together, practiced 2 or 3 times a week, and went to roping like you won't believe. And I bet you old time we never did win $2,000 together.
It's the hardest thing in the world to rope with your best friend or your wife. Yeah, I've tried to rope my wife before. It doesn't turn out too good.
That's a good way to get a divorce.
It's amazing that Cody and Courtney keep it together.
I got all kind of roping. I got all kind of roping stories. We went to roping in Clemson, South Carolina. Me and Jack and Jim Whipple. Me and Jim Whipple split $2,000. So I think I got $1,038. Well, back then, this is in the 80s now. They's giving a saddle away, and you just didn't win a saddle. It wasn't like it is now, you know.
Right.
They give a saddle away. It was a pretty big kind of deal. I won that $1,038. Jack said, enter up. He said, you got the money, enter up. You'll win that saddle. Enter up. So I just ended. Then I got to where I couldn't catch nothing. Long story short, we left there. I had won $1,038. I had to borrow money from Jack to eat supper. That's what roping is.
You were a true team roper, Mr. Doyle.
And the worst part about it, Truman Owens won the saddle, and he didn't beat me but $45. That's the worst part.
All you had to do is win $45. Well, you probably put enough money in roping to make it where he won the extra $45.
That's pitiful. Now, you had a sack full of money and you just rope it all up, try to win a $600. I did finally win a saddle, but I won it at the North Georgia Club. But roping is an experience. It's about like being in the military.
Oh, really?
Ain't much different.
Oh, really?
Another little story about roping. In the 80s, none of us have no crew cab trucks. Everybody had single cab trucks. So Bobby Griggs, Doug Caraway, and Jack and myself decided we'd go on to Marianna, Florida to Circle D and enter a team rope.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't no room to ride in one truck, and we wasn't gonna drive two trucks. Me and Bobby get up in the living quarters, in the nose. He didn't have a living quarters, just the nose of the trailer with a mattress up there. We rode from Farmington, Georgia to Marianna, Florida in the nose of that trailer.
What time of year was it?
It was pretty cool. It wasn't real hot, so it wasn't too bad. I think it was in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a pretty long, bumpy
that's
ride.
That's a long haul laying on your belly.
Couldn't even sit up, could you? Did they shut the gate on you up in the front, or could you crawl out?
They didn't shut. Oh, we could get down and stand up, but outside of that's it. We had a jug. We had a jug with us too. You know what that means.
It made the ride better, huh? Yeah.
Made it a little more comfortable.
I understand. I understand. Tell me a little bit about the dogs thing. I grew up with my dad. We caught a lot of cows, and we had Catahoula dogs.
That's right.
And we'd catch cows with them. I understand those dogs pretty good, but as far as like herding dogs, like you talking about, whether it be border collies or kelpies or whatever, the dogs we had were kind of rough. They just knew to pile them up.
Well, they did what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Just like the cur dogs and the Catahoulas, they grouped them up.
Mm-hmm.
You ride in there and do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the kind of dogs we work with now are dogs that you can actually move livestock from point A to point B without a whole lot of hassle. Courtney understands that from the dog she's got, putting her steers up. It just
tell them about when I brought my dog over there to your house for the first time.
What?
When I brought my dog over there.
Oh
to
yeah,
your house.
she had went to another place. She said, I don't know if them girls knew too much about what they was doing. And she said, I come over here and the first thing you said, but let's throw him in Rampy and see what we got.
Well, first off, so I got this free dog, okay? So I'm like, well, everybody knows Doyle trains dogs. So I said, well, I'm going to give him a call, see what I can do with this dog I got for free. Well, I take him over there with Labor Day weekend, and the first thing the dog did was pee on me. Remember that?
And what did I say?
He peed on my leg. And he said, what'd you say? That I wouldn't have a dog that would piss on you like that or something.
I said, you need to work on that.
That's right. So we put him in the round pen. We did a little, he was showing me, I was trying to figure it out with the time. It's kind of just like team roping or, timing, all of that. But he said, after we get done, he said, well, I said, what'd you think about my dog, Doyle? He said, well, I'd give you about $35, and that's a compliment, because most folks that bring a dog over here, I wouldn't even give you 10 cents.
And now he's a $3,000 dog.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
She worked hard with him. I mean, she got it done.
Yeah, he's been a good one.
Now what's the most what breed of dogs are most people working with, or are you working with, or is it kind of all over the board?
Most people want border collies, although there's a lot of good kelpies around too.
Mm-hmm.
Kelpies they're different in the fact that now them things go feral on you if you don't spend time.
They
with
can
them.
be a little bit strong.
They're a little bit goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a breed that Gary Erickson and can't remember the other fellow's name. They started breeding them. What them things called? Hanging trees.
Oh, okay. I've heard of
Hanging
that. I've heard of that.
Them are strong
And
dogs.
you talk about rough, tough. Them suckers
Yeah.
are rough, tough. man.
That's the guy. Aren't they from Oklahoma or something like that?
He's, I think, Charlie Treya is in Texas, but Gary was in Oklahoma. Yeah,
Those dogs are made more for working some of those eared kind of cattle.
they made for a real cowboy now. They ain't made
Nah.
nobody be dinking around now.
Right.
I've had some of them at the house. I helped the guy try to train two of them. Now James Ledford, y'all know James.
Oh, yeah.
James has got one pretty nice dog now.
I tell you what, this James Ledford, if it wasn't for James Ledford, I might not still be roping today. When I was a kid, I was in high school, I wasn't old enough to drive, and they used to rope over at the Tiz Hut every week. This James Ledford come by the house and pick me up every week and take me over there to rope. And I mean, that's the only way I could get to go, because Daddy wasn't going to go. And so that's the only way I get to go rope with
When
James
you quit, he
Ledford.
kind of quit, didn't he?
I guess. But
Talk about a team roping accident. James Ledford got crushed at the Greene County
Oh, yeah,
Arena.
his
Were y'all
pelvis got
there?
broke,
Yeah. he
James
got-
Ledford also got thrown over the end of the fence at the Tiz Hut one time. We get James on here to tell his team rope. He didn't ever lose a leg, but he got thrown out. He got thrown off a few times.
He also got run over by a sheep when we kept saying, James, don't open that gate. Don't open that gate, James.
He might have to come on here and defend his honor after this. What? And when I'm sure at this point, like with me, I feel like I can go look at steers and kind of give you an idea of what a steer's going to do. I've seen a million of them, right? What about dogs? Can you kind of see puppies and kind of tell if they've got some potential to fool you?
You can watch puppies, and there's some traits that you look for, like that puppy that's always, you may have 5 puppies in a litter, and there's that one puppy that's easing around by himself, looking, trying to get into something, right by himself, where the rest of them all piled up together. Look at that, and some of them you just, like that dog I had that we called Bud, you just look at him when you put him on livestock, you knew he had it. I mean, that was it. That dog basically trained himself.
Right.
But, I used to just, if you called me and said, would you take this dog, I would, but now I'm a little bit more selective. I say, you need to bring him in and let me evaluate him.
Right.
But you still don't know, because you can evaluate them and you try them. The biggest problem with dogs today is the owners.
I think that's with horsemanship and everything.
That's the biggest problem with dogs today is the owners. And most of the people I deal with are not livestock people at all. Very, very few people I help. She's one of the few that I help.
So you're having to teach them as much about the cows and the sheep
Well,
and
they come
whatever.
out of Atlanta a lot, right?
Yeah, I got people that come from South Carolina. My Florida folk, Alabama folks not coming anymore. They all got old like me. And but I got people coming quite a ways.
Well, talk about the different breeds of dogs as far as like I know you're saying Kelpie. Like, what is your favorite to work?
Well, I've had Australian Shepherds for 50 years or better. And actually the Australian Shepherd's what put me and her together. But anyway, that's another story. And are they sharp like Border Collies? No. Are they sharp like Kelpies? No. The worst part with the Aussie, they bred most of the herding out of them because of show dogs.
They wanted to look.
Yeah, one of them big fat legs and big square looking head and everything, and they bred it out of them. So when you get with my line of dogs that go back to the Bob Vest line, they got some work in them. Ruby, as they bred Border Collies in them, might have, but my dog's got a little bit of eye like a Border Collie. When I say eye, that's that staring look. And you go to the Kelpie, and the Kelpie's got a lot of eye, and that's one of the biggest troubles I see with the Kelpie. They got too much eye. They get hooked up, and then they won't turn the livestock loose. They just just...
Kelpies kind of remind me a little bit like those Catahoulas used to be. You had to keep them chained up just about or locked up, because if you just let them roam free, they were going to go find something to work.
Oh,
they couldn't leave it alone.
Absolutely.
It was like drugs to them.
Claire's got one there now, and if you let her out, she's going to find something to do. And Border Collie's a lot like that, too. I've got a dog there that belongs to a fella up at, I think he's in Livonia, up that way, and she'll jump out of the pen if she hears the gator. She'll jump out of the pen, run, get on the gator, or run to the pen where the cows or the sheep are.
Well, I got a cur dog. I'm waiting to die.
He will. That's awful.
I'm like, I know it's terrible. It don't come for me, Peter. I ain't gonna kill it, but I just, I got, what is it, a 2020? So I probably got these Heinz 57 dogs. I'm like, that thing will live for
How old
20
is he?
years. 6.
Well, he'll live to 18 at least.
I went a long way.
If you want him to
Went a long
die.
way.
See, I got one that's 13 every day. I go down there thinking I'm going down and find a dead dog. But he still wants to work. I bet he run 100 miles.
Too fat.
Yeah. Back and forth. I usually chain my dogs up at the arena. I don't even chain him. He's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I tell people all the time I'm proud of the work, which I don't have. I've got a Jack Russell and a Yorkie now. That's what I'm
We'll
down
say
to.
a prayer for you.
That's what I'm down to. But I love to watch good dogs work with it. I mean, we went duck hunting trip a few years ago, and the guy had a retrieving dog that was just out of this world good. But I'm always curious about how you get there, because like when we had Catahoulas as a kid. And like I tried to poke my dad about it a little bit when he came in and did his podcast, and he said kind of what I thought. Like you said, they just had it in them. And we take a younger dog the way we did dogs. We take a younger dog and go put him with an older dog, and the way those Catahoulas would work, circling them up, and then you get you a wad and you push a wad wherever he's going. And they kind of taught each other. If you let them just follow an older dog around, so there really wasn't any training to it. But now what y'all do, you got them with the lay down and to come by.
Like I said,
way
you got to move stock like we do. You got to have a dog that'll hold the line.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say hold the line, when the cattle or the sheep or whatever's going away from them, that dog's got to stay back there in the back. He can't be running around to the front, stopping them and turning them around.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to hold that line behind him. And that's the biggest challenge with the dogs we work with.
Now, do you tell me this? It looks like to me, and I'm very ignorant, but it looks like to me like a border collie or something. It's almost like they're trying to bring them to you, and like a healer dog or something's trying to make them trying to get something to go away from you.
We describe it like this: you got droving dogs, and you got fetching dogs, or dogs that bring them to you. And the big transition is we start all these dogs fetching. It don't make whatever it is, the healers or whatever. Believe it or not, we got some German Shepherds that work pretty nice.
Oh, I bet.
And we started bringing that livestock to you. One reason you could put pressure on the livestock and pressure on the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Taking them away from there, no two-legged man could keep up with a four-legged dog and 3 cows. You forget it.
Uh-huh.
So if you got them coming to you, you could put pressure on everything, And that's the reason we get these livestock, whether it be cows or sheep or goats or whatever, they got to be broke to that dog to know to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm breaking 3 cows this week, and I just about got them to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And they come off of a farm where they've been supposed to be in work, but
Not like the way, not confined as
well,
much as
it's kind of the same thing we do, but not quite. But anyway, but you do that, and then the dog's going to look at you like you're stupid at some point in time, because the first thing you're going to do, you're going to say, bring me them cows. Now bring them on past me. You've stopped him so many times when they get to you. Then you're going to ask that dog, take them on past you, and that dog going to stand there and look at you like, you want me to do what?
Mm-hmm.
And if you get him to go past it with them, then he stop, turn around and look at you like, did I do something wrong? But the hardest thing is that transition from what we call fetching, bringing them to you, to get them to driving.
Mm-hmm.
And you got outside flanks and you got inside flanks. And the inside flank is where the dog comes between you and the livestock. Outside flank is when he goes around behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start going from around behind you to the inside flank, there again, that dog look at you and say, this is a trap. I know it's a trap.
Because he's so used to bringing them to you, it makes a little
going
sense
around
for him to go
behind you,
outside.
see? And you do that to get them widened out. They can't go run right close to the livestock because livestock run off. They got to learn to get out like Rex had to learn to get out and get around them.
Mm-hmm.
Fall out, come around, and then when he gets behind them, bring them to you.
It's opposite. Like Jay Bird, he was like, it's a lot different than what I'm used to, because he's used to just the pushing.
Yeah, Jay Bird come for a
And
lesson.
so-
He said, we ain't never done it like this. I said,
He's got a good little female if he, have put some time with her. But yeah, he was like, this ain't the same what I'm used to.
He
'cause
was
he's
wanting
used
to push him with something. Yeah.
Right.
And that's understandable. We've got a dog there now that people have started driving with it. And like I said, when you start these dogs, you can't keep up with them dogs in livestock. So now we're trying to break her where she comes around and brings them to you.
Well, that's what, we had some, like when I was younger, in fact, I got a healer dog from your dad one time. And that, we didn't know what we were doing. And I was just, like you said, our idea of training them was take them to the roping pen with us and bring steers back around and stuff or whatever. Those healer dogs were real good about wanting to, they heal them and they'd want to drive them and push them away. And that's what made sense. So it's foreign nature for me. For you to talk about something to bring something to you, that just...
Well, and with them dogs, like, for instance, if you're doing roping steers, all you would have to do with a healer or a border collie, anything else, is just let your steers get in the lane, take the dog down there, put him out, and you just keep doing that. Pretty soon he'd be bringing them cattle up through there. It's all about repetition.
Right.
Every day, and that dog will start pretty soon. Then first thing you know, he'll be reaching up on that, gripping some feet and stuff like that when they don't move.
Now, do y'all want the dogs that y'all are training? Do y'all want them to bite much, or it just depends on the different dogs?
If I say it once, I say it 50 times. Don't take the bite out of your dog. You're gonna need. Teach that dog to control that bite. Where if you need it, you can ask him to get it. Some people say get it. Some people say hit it. Some people say bite.
Well, and what I've learned too is like an aggressive dog on a sheep might not be as aggressive on cattle. There's different breeds in that in the border collie, right? Where
any breed,
any
really.
line, yeah. Where like Rex, he likes them, but he likes them to keep moving. If they turn, he kind of looks at me like, okay, what you gonna help me out with? So he don't have that aggression that like a healer where you can knock him in the head 1,000 times. And
You just said the magic word when he asked you, help me.
Yeah, right.
Nobody wants to go and help the dog.
Right.
If you're lazy, you can't train a dog.
Right.
I see it all the time. I told a girl the Sunday morning, I said, you got to get some hustle in your step, girl, or you ain't never going to make it.
Yeah.
It's real interesting though. I love it. I mean, it's as addictive as team roping. And I tell Cody, if we ever quit team roping, we're gonna work dogs because it's addictive.
I could see that.
And
It really
there's
is.
some of them things pay good money too.
Now you don't want your dogs to bark much at all, do you, or at all?
No, we're not like we penning cows out
Yeah.
in the bushes.
Yeah, because
we ain't looking for them. We know where they are.
Well, I was gonna say we turned our Catahoula's loose, boy. They were expected to bark. And you could tell by how they barked what was going on. You didn't even have to see them.
Claire's got a little young Aussie, and she gets frustrated. She'll come around and just stop and go, "Arr, arr, arr," and then she'll go again, But she's gonna get over that. I mean, she's a pretty nice little dog. She'll get over it, but.
All right, tell me how the competitions work.
Well, it depends. There's all kinds of associations. And, of course, we mainly do AKC because that's the way I was trained. But I have run in some border collie trials also. But I like to help these people, People say, well, the corgi, we talk about a Welsh corgi, for instance. A corgi can't herd. Well, maybe it can't herd, but that person that got it is just as excited when that dog goes around sheep as you are when that border collie goes 2,000 yards. You know what I mean? And when you watch people and they come that don't know nothing about sheep, not very much about a dog going and walking on a leash around the ring showing it, and you watch them 6 or 8 months later and see them getting something done, winning ribbons and stuff like that. It's pretty rewarding to help people out. A good border collie, if you got just any kind of livestock knowledge at all, you can train a border collie. A good one.
So how do the competitions work? Are they broken into like classes as far as what animals you're
You
herding?
got different levels. You got like started, intermediate, open. For instance, in one association, that's ASCA, and that's AKC, and then you got Mountain States, which is an organization out west that pays big money. and they have it set up the same way. You got novice, pro novice.
It has to do with money won, or does it have to do with that, just how much experience you have, how much you've won? Or?
Well, see, they won't let me. If you ever won any kind of prize in Mountain States, you're out as far as running in the lower classes. You got to run in the upper class. And if you're a trainer or
you won some of that at one point.
Yeah, I won some money. Believe it or not, $35, I think.
Man, that might be the worst $35 you ever won if they won't let you enter some classes now.
But really, some of those things pay. They have trials. They have trials just like we have team roping, where you pay money and then pay back first 5 places, 3 places, whatever.
Sure.
Some of them pay back pretty good.
Right now, what all can they have? They do ducks, sheep, and cattle. Ducks,
sheep, cattle, goose, turkeys, pigeon.
Really?
Up in Virginia, they work turkeys up there at one
really?
farm. Yeah, now I'm gonna tell you, working geese. A geese will tear a dog up.
Oh, I can imagine.
A whole lot worse than a cow.
I can imagine.
I was in Virginia judging, and the big goose got this dog by the lip. That dog's having a fit. So, yeah, they're pretty hard to work.
So how do you judge a dog that gets bit on the lip by the goose and what can't beat the goose? Is that dog didn't do very good? I wouldn't.
Well, I'm usually calling time because it ain't gonna get no better. I'm usually saying thank you. Now, if the goose attacked the dog, I might consider giving a rerun if it wasn't the dog's fault. If the goose just decided, well, I'm gonna get this dog, then I might give him a rerun. But if the dog run up there and bit the goose and then the goose out onto him, ain't gonna be no rerun.
Yeah,
that's the dog's fault. He started the fight.
Yeah, you started that fight. You
he started the fight, so somebody got to end it.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I always thought that you when we had dogs, thought we'd try to play around with stuff. I always thought you'd get some goats and do them, but I've heard goats can be kind of rough on dogs.
Goats are a lot like working cows. Cows work different. Sheep work way different than anything else.
Oh, they stay together.
Because they got that flocking instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you what, if one sheep goes through a gate,
they all going to go.
You best well open the gate, they're going to tear that gate down. Then you got the choice.
That's what they used to tell us about when we'd load sheep at the stockyard, load goats and stuff. You try to push sheep in onto a trailer, and it was just dang near impossible. If you'd ever go up there and grab one and throw him up in there, the rest of them
you get one on the rest of the crowd to go.
Yeah.
But they will tear. They're the roughest thing on the fence any animal I ever seen.
Oh, really? Because they rub on it all.
Well, like on field fence, if they ever get the head through there, and push out a little hole, they just keep pushing. And when that first one gets halfway through, the rest of them trying to get through there, they're gonna make a hole big as you are.
How long can you work sheep before they just get so dull that they're no good?
Oldest one we've had was about 17.
Oh, so you can do them for quite a while.
Oh yeah, it depends on you just set it up. Them kind of sheep, you set them up according to the dog's ability. You want to start off with good gentle sheep that'll come right to you when you first start a dog. Then you start advancing, you get what we call lighter sheep. The lighter they are, we could say light, they move better.
Mm-hmm, they're faster.
And the ones that stick right with you, we call them knee knockers. And they will knock you. That's what I always tell them. You get tired of your knees being knocked off, you'll get this dog stopped one way or the other.
Yeah. Now, do you raise some sheep, or do you just buy them mostly?
When we keep the coyotes out of them, we do.
Right.
We've had a devil time of coyotes.
Really?
I got a donkey in there, and she's done pretty good up until the last couple of years, but they worked on this last couple of years.
Have you ever used one of those guard dogs?
I ain't got a fence that'll hold a guard dog.
Really? They want to roam.
Oh, I got neighbors that's got them. We see them out all the time.
I've heard that they kind of want to.
I know one fellow that had one with sheep, and they had a chain about big as your wrist, and had a log tied to the end of the chain to keep him in there.
Keep him from going through the fence. Yeah.
So yeah, and there are some good ones that'll stay with them. I know. But what I've seen mostly with the guard dogs like that, if you've got a lot of acreage where they got room to kind of roam around, and they won't leave them sheep very far, but they got to have room to kind of move around and see different things. You got to keep them in a small area. They're pretty bad about getting out.
One of our sponsors is Jake Wilcox. He is with Iris Inc. Realty. He is right here in Oglethorpe County, and anything from farms and land, horse farms, cattle farms, a little bit of residential, a little bit of commercial, anything like that. He's a hardworking guy. He's trustworthy and will do a great job for you.
Have you had anybody come try to hunt your coyotes?
I've had some folks come with all the starlight scopes and all that kind of stuff and a case of beer, and ain't nobody killed a coyote yet.
They drank lots of beer, but ain't killed any coyotes.
I've had 3 different ones come, and ain't nobody killed a coyote.
You know, I've heard that you can't kill them fast enough. You can't shoot them fast enough. They say if you kill, like there's a pack of them, and you kill 2 or 3 of them, they say they'll have twice as many babies then. That's what I've heard.
You might be right.
I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, it makes sense, I guess.
Oh, at night, you can get out. If you get out on a good, quiet night, you can hear them howling all around.
Now, do you think there's also people that say like coyotes, they think they don't kill stuff, they just kind of scavenge. Do you think they sure enough going and getting them and killing them?
They'll bite them right under the throat and kill them and eat they start at their butt and eat all the way to the ribs. And when they seldom bother the meat.
Really?
It's the insides they want.
Really?
That's the way it's been at the house. I'm going by what my experience has been with them.
Yeah.
Now, if we get one that's chewed up pretty good all over and just laying, you pretty well figure a dog done that.
A dog had got in there. That's what we always wonder. We've always had coyotes around, and you hear people talk about coyotes getting in their cows or stuff or whatever, but we always kind of thought if you had mean enough cows and stuff, the coyotes didn't really bother
I've had
them.
people tell me the coyotes will follow, if you feed them grain to cows, the coyotes will follow the cattle and eat the grain that drops out of them.
Or they'll eat the rats that's trying to get around the grain, probably. But that's what we've had problems with dogs before. But coyote, I don't know that we've ever had coyotes really bother. If they did bother a cow or calf, there was something wrong with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's not sheep. Sheep are they're kind of sitting ducks a little bit.
Well, sheep are like, when you mention ducks, you get chasing a flock of ducks. There'll be one just lay down and play dead.
Oh, really?
I sacrificed myself for the rest of y'all to get away.
Really?
Yeah, they'll do that. If it's more than one, and you really get harassed them with a dog, one of them ducks will lay down.
That's interesting. Now, do y'all keep some ducks around to practice on?
How many you got? 40?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, 50.
What kind of ducks?
Ducks.
We have call ducks.
Now, what's that?
They're like size of pigeons. Bantam ducks is about the best way to describe it.
Okay.
And we were using khaki Campbells, but that's about a 4-pound duck. And it takes 5 to run 5 ducks on a trial. And you carry 5 4-pound ducks for 3 or 4 hours. Them things get heavy.
Yeah.
So we went to some half, 3/4, 1-pound ducks.
Yeah, y'all went to more.
We're looking after ourselves. We're getting old.
Now, do you get duck eggs out of them?
She's hatched. How many of you hatched? A bunch.
Do you eat the duck eggs?
I guess you could. We don't, but I guess you could.
So you just let them hatch and raise, then?
Them things are expensive.
Really?
What do we have? 35. We had $1,000 in 35.
Wow.
That's counting the driving. I drove everywhere trying to get them things. Get 5 here, 2 here.
That's something else I don't know anything about. Chickens and ducks and stuff. I've been around chicken houses some of my life, but I used to go do a small animal auction about once every 2 or 3 months, fill in for a buddy. And man, they'd come out and they probably thought I was the dumbest person on earth. They'd pull it out and they'd rattle off what kind of duck or chicken or whatever this was, and I'd try to repeat it. And finally, I just got to where we'd be sitting there, we'd be doing the auction. I'd just take the microphone, do like this, hold it down there, let them say what kind of chicken it was, and then I'd auction him off because everyone I didn't know what they were talking about.
I went to one of them small animal auctions. Went to look at the horse trailer. And I go in there, and the guy said, "Oh, I'll be auctioneer. Just come on up here and tell me you're here." And I went up there and told him who it was. He said, "The trailer's round back. Said, if look at it, if you want it, just come back and give me a check." So he's auctioning off these 2 rabbits. They in a cage. Lady finally got them for $10. She went up at, they take the money right there. Went up there to give her the money. They took the rabbits out of the cage. She said, I didn't buy the cage. They said, no, you bought the ducks. Said, we'll have to auction the cage off if you buy the cage. They charged her $25 for that cage.
For the cage?
Yeah, $35 and 2 rabbits. And I'm like, this thing's a rip-off.
You better watch yourself when you get around one of those functions. Those
First thing you want to ask, does the cage go with them?
We had one time. I went to this auction up there, and it was up in the mountains, and mountain people came to this. There's all kind. I mean, if you ever want some good people watching, you go to one of those things. And I'd never sold. It was the first time I'd ever been up there, and I'd never sold a chicken or a rabbit or a duck or nothing like that. So I didn't know what none of this stuff was worth. I'd sold just thousands and thousands and thousands of goats and cattle and stuff, you know. We sit there and go to sell. They said, well, they bring this first cage of rabbits up. There's about 10 of them in there. I don't know, rabbits about like that. And they told me what kind they were, and I told people whatever. We started auctioning these things off. I leaned over at the guy that runs the sale. I said, what are these things worth? He said, I start them at $8. $8, $9, $10, $11, $12. We rock along and sell these things for $20-something a piece. This girl sitting up there she just never quit. I mean, she bought them. How many of them you want? I'll take all of them. And there was 10 of them, or 10 or 12 of them in there. I'll take all of them. So she took all of them. She got her cage rabbits. She left. And I was like, well, I guess that's all she wanted. Well, I thought rabbits worth $20-something, you know. Here come the next thing of rabbits, 10, 15 minutes later. I pitched them out at 20. I thought I knew what I was doing. Boy, didn't nobody move. I backed them up to 15, backed them up to 10, backed them up to 5, backed them up to 3. We sold these things for like $6 a piece. And these were some bigger rabbits. I leaned over to that boy, put that thing on. I said, what's the deal here? I said, the first thing of rabbits were this big and brought $20-something a piece. This thing of rabbits, they this big and they brought $6 a piece. He said, oh, that first girl buys them. She comes and buys the first. These people, that people pay to get to be the first ones to bring their stuff up there. People pay big money to be the first one to have rabbits because she comes every 2 weeks and buys that many rabbits. She buys the first thing of rabbits and she leaves. I said, what's she do with them? He said, she feeds them to her snakes that live in her house. And he said, here's what I want you to think about. She just bought 12 rabbits. And a snake will eat a rabbit, and he might not eat again for another week. How many snakes you think she's got in her house? I said, more than I want to know about. After that point, I understood that for small animal crowd people, that wouldn't. I needed to stay away from them.
You got to remember, it takes all kind of people to make the world go round.
It does. Because I'm going to tell you what, if a snake's in my house, there's going to be a shotgun hole in the floor here directly.
Yeah, I know about snakes and being in the halls, barns, and people throw out every tool they got and calling you on the phone saying, there's a snake in the hall of my barn. Where is it? I can't see him all them tools.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
So tell me a good funny dog working story. I know you got one time where somebody's dog had to give you a funny one time.
I don't know about that.
Yeah?
I can't really recall. Yeah, I can. I had a guy come to me. You may know him, Kenny Arendale, lived over at Colbert.
Okay.
And he come to me. He said, I want a dog to help me with my livestock. So he had a really super nice dog. I said, Kenny, we buy that dog right there if you'll sell him. Oh, I ain't gonna sell this dog. But long story short, I don't want to do no trial or nothing like that. Well, Kenny starts trialing. And you'd have to know him because he's real loud. And anyway, he's doing real good with his dogs, and he goes to a trial. He blowing his whistle, and there was a bird at that trial that started making the same sound as that whistle. Kenny stops and throws up his hand, said, somebody kill that bird. That ain't exactly the way he said it, but
I love it.
Somebody killed that bird. Oh, man.
That's about the funniest one I know of right there.
I'd say that would have to be pretty funny. Man, thought
right in the middle of the trial, he just stops and throws his hands up because his poor dog didn't know what to do. He just trying to figure out who was after him.
We had one time. We had a dog, a Catahoula dog. She was old, but she'd lay under the trailer at the barn. And when the cows go jump on the trailer, she'd reach out from under the trailer and bite them on the legs. Well, we were loading some calves one day, and my uncle would come over there. And we were young. I was a kid, and he was 6 years older than me, so he was, I don't know, probably 20 something. And him and his buddy came over there. They was gonna help my dad with his calves. We go to load these calves. One of them gets his leg stuck on there. This calf just, and they thought it was just because he had his leg hung. Well, his buddy goes over and gonna grab his leg and pull it out from under it. Well,
He grabs.
this dog goes to bite him on the arm. He said, ah! And she wouldn't just grab on, but she'd kind of bite and then let go. And bite and let go, you know. Ah! Ah! He said, turn it off. And they said, turn what off? He said, turn the electric fence off. It keeps shocking me. He said, it ain't no electric fence, it's a dog. He'd bite him on the arm.
There's a lot of things could happen with livestock and dogs and horses too.
Well, if anybody wants to watch, like what was that on Netflix? The Mustard Dog. What was that? Was that Netflix show?
Yeah, that thing still comes on, but Netflix is not putting it on anymore.
Oh, they don't have
They
it.
did a video about you?
No, it ain't about me. It's an Australian deal.
Okay.
And ABC TV. It's different from the ABC network we have. It's part of ABC, but it's different, and you got to subscribe to it, and it's pretty pricey. So I just
Oh, well, if you Google it, though, I bet you could find a like if people want to see what we're talking about,
Oh, I
is Google the Mustard Dogs and watch them work.
there's plenty of dog training videos on
Yeah.
YouTube. All you got to do is just plug it in, and it'll come up.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about it is, and you see this with horse trainers. Y'all know some of these horse whisperers. Well, you got some dog whisperers out there too.
What was it? Baxter Black said he said he didn't know a horse whisperer, but he knew a donkey mumbler.
And that's true. You know, I've been doing this 30 years, and I don't know it all.
Oh, for sure. Learn something new every time you go mess with it.
You'd be surprised. And some of the things I've learned, and the strange thing about it is there's some shortcuts you can take, but you can't tell them shortcuts just to anybody because they abuse it and lose what they're trying to get because they don't know how to go back and pick it up and make it happen. We start our dogs in a round pen, which some people don't like that, but we start them in a round pen, but we get them out of there as soon as we can because we're asking that dog to get off, and he's got to have room to get off, you know.
So how do you teach them to away and come by? How do they know the difference?
Body language, right? I said that. I
I
answered
don't know.
that. What do you think, Doyle?
I got a dog trained G and Haw and Wool, and I train him like that just to show people that come. It doesn't make any difference what you tell that dog as long as he understands that word.
That means go this way.
That means go this way. And I usually use a kid's rake, a leaf rake, and I just put it out there. And, you know, you got to have a dog who wants to get around stock, but I just put it out there and kind of push him around and give him a word and do it on the other
So you
side.
kind of guide him with that
Just
rake.
guide him with that rake.
I got you.
Well, it's a lot like they riding horses and horsemanship. I mean,
It's
kinda
like-
where you position yourself at gives the dog the.
Position of you and on livestock, relation to the dog makes all the difference in the world.
Right.
Like if you want to send a dog on the right hand side, and that's called the wayside, you don't want to be on the wayside yourself. You want to be on the left hand side, push it. And the way I try to explain it, and people that ride horses pick it up real fast. Pressure on, pressure off. You know, when that colt turns his head, what do? You turn him loose. Let him have his head. Same way with the dog. Once that dog steps over, I don't care if he don't step over but 6 inches, you need to leave him alone. And then you push him again to see if you can get another 6 inches.
So the release is what they're looking for.
Pressure and
There's
release.
a dance. Yeah, it's a dance. It's really cool, though.
I'm gonna have to come out there and watch one.
Positive reinforcement.
Oh.
That ain't the way I say it. I say reward and punishment. They don't like that. And when I say punishment, I don't mean you got to beat the dog, but it's like when you push that dog with that rake, you actually
Chase him a little bit,
You're
yeah.
punishing him.
Yeah.
You call it whatever you want to. You putting pressure on him, so you punish him.
Well, the reward for a collie or any of those herding is to get to the sheep, right?
Here's my favorite word: don't let him have him sheep till he does what you say do.
Right.
You know, if you're trying to get him to go around, He won't go around. He wants to run in. Push him back out of there. Push him back any way you can. What is Jerry Clower said? Just shoot up in here. Somebody's got to have some relief.
Just shoot up amongst us.
That's what you got to do with them dogs.
There you go. There you go.
And you know, they tell me all the time, well, you mean to your dogs. I said, there ain't a dog on this place I can't call to me.
Yeah.
And after I keep one there 30 days, I don't care whose dog is, I can call him to me.
That's
because they know if they don't come, they got to deal with me after.
It's just like a kid. Just got to teach them respect. I have said that to a lot of people. We always get into parenting conversations. I say, if you train enough horses or dogs or something or whatever, you can raise kids.
If a horse comes up to me and goes rubbing his head on me like that right there, somebody ain't done the job. That's right. All I can say. Somebody ain't done the job.
That's right. That's right. Well, Doyle, I've enjoyed it, man. Thank you for coming and talking.
It's been fun. I had no idea what it was going to be like.
We just come and have good times, all we do, Mr. Doyle. So we appreciate you coming, and maybe we'll all sneak out there to Farmington one day and come see you.
I can't get her to come. She got a good dog. I can't get her to come.
You got her trained up. She left you, huh? She run off.
She said, I can put my steers in pen. That's all I
That's all we need. I hear you. Well, Mr. Doyle, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for asking me.
You bet.
Thank you.